Now, what Urban T. Holmes decided to do was to explore the nature of moving between the structure and the anti-structure in terms of how we imagine in our brains. And without being in the least mechanical, it would seem fairly self-evident that because the brain is constructed in a left and a right hemisphere, joined together by the thick stem, the corpus callosum, it would seem that it might be possible to metaphorically at times be drawing a road or a landscape, if you like, beyond a road, a landscape that sometimes inhabits the left-hand hemisphere and sometimes inhabits the right hemisphere. And in a way, this is not dissimilar to what Gerald Manley Hopkins, the poet, called the inscape of the mind. Each human mind contains this inscape. Perhaps each human mind journeys metaphorically between the left and right hemispheres. We certainly know scientifically that there are differences in perception between left and right hemisphere. We'll deal with those in the next little webinar. But the primary clue to imagination may be how easily we can facilitate the journey along this pathway between the two hemispheres. People leave the city, says Urban T. Holmes, either consciously or without direct intent, in order that they may reconstitute or recreate themselves. We flee to the place of the anti-structure. We come out of the very structure, the life of the city, and we go to the place that's in the wilderness, the place that draws us to the abyss. And by the abyss we can mean something that is quite strikingly frightening, where we come face to face with our own mortality. Well, when we tell a really good story, we're imaging and using both the structures and the anti-structures. And if we're joining our personal story to that bigger story, which is the story of the church, the story of God's salvation, God's good news, through Jesus Christ. When we're joining ourselves to that story, are we in fact bringing into play inside our own brains a bimodal consciousness? Sometimes we inhabit the left-hand side, sometimes the right-hand side, as we are telling stories like myths. Is it conceivable that because myths build up worlds, that they are actually words of power that build up structures? Or, if we're telling parables, is it possible that they are taking us to the anti-structures because parables, if you like, turn the world upside down, they knock it for six? That's something to think about in terms of bimodal consciousness.